Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's to you.
But this is Chinese New Year.
Yes, it is. The year of the dragon, right?
Right. And
awesome.
That is supposed to be a really good luck year, and I sure hope so.
Well, and it sounds like a lot of people are looking forward to some good luck right now.
Good luck, and we've had our regular New Year's. That's behind us, and I think New Year's always brings hope.
Yeah.
Renewed. It feels like things are renewed.
Just starting all over again, and resolutions if you did it, which was real funny this year. I didn't do it. I didn't do a resolution.
I did. Every New Year's Eve I write out, I call them goals. And I write out my goals for the following, or for that new year coming up, and then I put it away, and I don't get the list out again until the following New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve.
I usually do that too. I just didn't do it this year.
Well, I've had times when I've had certain things on there for years. If they were important enough for me to transfer them, and I wouldn't, they'd be on there for years and years. But this year I was very disappointed in myself. I didn't accomplish one thing. Not one thing that was on my goal list. It's like, where was I?
Yeah, I had a lot of changes and transitioning going on. My son left for the Marines, and just a lot of things. So I feel like maybe some of those things were kind of coming to pass. Good. And so I just really didn't feel like I had something more that I could achieve right now. So I guess I'm content right now.
Motherhood is a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting them raised and out of the house, that's a big accomplishment. But no, today's Chinese New Year's, and like you said, the year of the dragon, which I guess the dragon is one of the better symbols to have, even as far as the astrological sign for the Chinese. I'm a rat. Do you know what you are?
I'm a tiger.
Oh, well, that figures. And what's really weird about that is I have one of those uncanny fears of rats. There's no reason or no rhyme or reason or explanation for it. I just have a deathly fear of them. When we did our phobias, when we did our show on phobias.
Rats would be one of them.
Well, yeah, it would. I said I had a real tremendous fear of heights, and I didn't even think about the rats, but I do.
I can't say being around a rat makes me real happy either.
Well, no. But let's just follow the regular zodiac sign, in which case I'm an Aquarian.
I'm a Gemini.
And you're a Gemini. My ascending sign's Gemini.
Wow.
And I have a birthday next week.
Yes, you do. Happy early birthday.
Yeah, anybody who wants to get me birthday presents, feel free. Just drop them off here at Channel 13. Huh? And I'm so glad you didn't ask my age, because I don't tell my age. They say women who'll tell her age will tell anything. So I just don't tell it. Yeah. But it's always nice to have that kind of, celebration. And I like to celebrate every day of life, really. Every day is a celebration.
Yeah.
Don't you feel that way?
Yeah, for the most part, I do.
You remind me of Jessica Rabbit. Do you remember that movie with Jessica?
Roger Rabbit.
Roger Rabbit, and Jessica had that sexy hair coming down, huh? And I'm not wearing a wig today.
Awesome. Your hair looks great.
Well, the last show I was wearing a little wig, not from the nice wig shop in town, just an old one I had at home. And I saw our show, and I thought, oh, my God, I cannot believe they let me even film with that on. And my grandson said, what is wrong with your own natural God-given hair? And I said,
point.
This is what's wrong with it. No, so, but it comes in nice and handy to put on a wig.
Exactly.
You were asking me about some dreams or out-of-body things you thought you were having?
Yeah, I have heard about, not that I've experienced it, but last time we had talked about dream interpretations, or one of our shows we had talked about it. But we didn't ever talk about outer body experiences. And I've heard of it, and I know of people that have actually done it. And I feel like there are times when I have gone to sleep that I jerk, and I've always wondered, well, maybe did I leave and come back, or
you just have restless leg syndrome, which is, I'm serious. I mean, that
I don't,
happens
but
too.
I know plenty of people that do.
That do. Well, actually, when we did talk about dreams, we mentioned, I think it was 7 different types of dreams, and one of them really was out-of-body experience, most people are not aware of it.
Right.
So the next morning, if they have any memory at all, it'll seem like a dream to them. But we can go into that at greater length. Is that what you're wanting to do?
Yeah, let's do that. I think our viewers would be interested in that.
An out-of-body experience, I'm sure people would often like to leave their bodies and go elsewhere.
Exactly.
And there are different things you can do. And actually, years ago, a gentleman by the name of Robert Monroe, he's no longer with us, but he started the Monroe Institute many, many years ago. And you can still buy his book that teaches techniques on how to leave your body. And they call them OBEs, but out-of-body experiences. At will. So anybody who is interested to kind of learn how to do it, I really recommend that Robert Monroe book.
Oh, okay.
And I can't even remember for sure where the institute is, but it is still in existence, and it has a lot to do with teaching clairvoyance, clairaudience, OBEs, that kind of thing.
It's more in depth than just outer body experience.
Very much in depth, but I can tell you from some of my own personal experiences.
Okay, I'd love to hear that.
Because for many years I traveled almost nightly, and I'm one of those fortunate people, I think, that traveled on a duality of consciousness. Like I was aware of what I was doing out and aware of the body, in bed. Okay. And Shirley MacLaine used to write about it in her books, and she'd say, you're attached to a silver cord. I never saw one.
Okay, I've heard about that.
It's not like you're going to go floating off like a balloon where you can't come back in, but I never saw the silver cord. For anybody who has them and is looking for it, that doesn't mean that you're going to see it, even though you are attached to your body.
Right, right.
Do you have a fear of leaving?
I don't think so. I haven't really put any thought into it, but I have often wondered, when you have that feeling of deja vu, would that be considered?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Or you were on a different timeline.
Okay.
Because you can have parallel lives on different timelines.
Because I have experienced deja vu.
Right.
In the sense that I know what deja vu is, but just knowing that I've been somewhere and never been there. I know I physically have never been there, but something's familiar to me. Or
a past life memory, or if it's actually events, you can leave and view something before the actual event by having an out-of-body, yes.
Okay.
Now, I know for me, it usually starts with like a buzzing around the ears. There have been times when I've even thought there was a gnat or something, buzzing around my ears. Just a little whirly, windy, buzzy little sound. Now, and my breathing changes.
Okay.
Upon leaving and entry, my breathing will be rapid and then settles back down.
Okay.
So just kind of be aware and see if there's any...
So would you say you are awake when you travel, or you are
totally
awakened?
Aware. No, I'm totally aware. I'm asleep in bed, but my body's asleep in bed. But I'm totally aware of the etheric body, which is just like your regular body, only it's a light body. And some people might have heard of or have heard of references to the light body, which is exactly like your physical body, only it's just a light body.
Okay.
It's like you had a little layer over you that is just energy. It's light. And that's what travels. And there are different places you can go, but I usually went straight through our galaxy out into the universe.
See, that would fascinate me. If I knew I could control it, if I could know where I was going.
Well,
I'd love to go through the galaxy.
Well, I never could control it.
Okay.
Okay. And you see all kinds of neat stuff. And you're right, going through that star system was amazing. You kind of feel like Superman, just taken off, okay?
Wow.
But I never learned how to control it. Now, on only maybe one or two occasions was I in a neighborhood.
Okay.
But they have what they call astral voyeurs. Have you ever heard of that?
You've mentioned that before, but maybe explain it a little bit.
Well,
it sounds what it sounds like.
Yeah, they're the ones that do know how to control it, and come and hang out in somebody's house and they're watching them. If you have that feeling ever, you might want to be a little cautious, because they have such a thing as astral voyeurs that just go check you out, okay? But no, when I've been like out of body, and I said most of the time I'm in the universe somewhere, I've seen incredible things, and you kind of know things without knowing them.
Right. Right.
But anytime there's fear, you instantly pull yourself back.
Okay. Well, and I wonder about that, because there are times where I will jerk and feel like I'm just slamming back into the bed, but I'm not aware of anything that had happened prior to that moment.
You were out of body and something pulled you back in. If there's a noise, if the phone rings, if the alarm goes off, anything like that will pull you back in. If fear sets in, you'll pull yourself right back in.
Okay.
And you can have a bad landing.
Okay.
And that's what I call it, a bad landing. You said you slammed in, okay?
Well, I feel like it, yeah.
Like I've done that, where I've actually gotten out of bed and looked to see if the bed got broken. You hit so hard.
Right.
Okay, but it's a bad landing.
Okay.
And this will sound funny. I hate to even maybe mention it, but I learned to say, when I was coming back in, to say, coming in too fast, slow down, slow down.
Wow.
And then I'd slow down and come in like a little feather.
Okay,
because I've had those slams.
Interesting.
After you had that, how did you feel?
A little out of breath.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the only times that I think, okay, maybe something happened. Maybe
it sounds like
yeah. But I don't have any recollection of what I've done or.
Oh, but your subconscious does. On some level it's all there. Did you feel out of balance the next morning or the next day?
I probably just went right back to sleep and didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it, so I can't.
To the next day.
Yeah, I can't say that I would remember.
Because normally when you've had a bad landing, you're, and that's what I call it, that's just my term for it, you don't come back in right. It just doesn't set right. So I know when it's happened to me, the next day I'm like bouncing off the, walls, or going through a doorway and bouncing off the doorway. And but I learned that if I feel off balance like that, that I just lay back down for a few minutes and just kind of align myself inwardly, and it corrects the situation.
Okay.
But it's fun to do it on a duality and be aware of those things. And like I say, you know things intuitively.
Right.
But you talk different. And in my mind, my mental chatter while I'd be going out like that would be just constantly. And sometimes I would even say, "Shut up, Gertie," in case there's something I needed to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
But most people do travel, and at some time or another, or some quite often, that are not aware of it.
Interesting.
And then I've also had people who tell me, well, they hear that little whirling or buzzing sound around their ears, but it frightens them, so they hold their own spirit back. They don't allow themselves to get out and travel.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people that aren't aware of it probably do hold back with fear.
Fear is the whole thing. You get afraid of going.
With so many things, but in this instance, for sure.
Oh, I just touched you. Oh, my God. I've been trying to be more cognizant of that and not touch you as much. And although if everybody's got a drinking game going now, I'm touching you, they might want me to touch you. Okay. Well, what happens is you can train yourself. And there are a few general techniques, like you do make sure that you're in quiet room. You take the phone off the hook. You make sure you're not going to get disturbed.
Right.
Okay. Don't eat spicy food.
Okay, interesting.
Prior to, trying the experiment anyway, to have an OBE, out-of-body experience. Spicy food will affect you, and so do peanuts.
Okay, interesting.
Don't ask me why, but they do.
Okay.
Okay? And, don't ask me why, because I really can't explain it. Well, but don't eat heavy foods. Wear something light and loose. Make sure you're in a quiet environment. And you can actually practice, several nights in a row before it really happens. So don't give up.
Okay.
Is what I'm trying to say. But your first try and it didn't happen, don't give up.
Okay.
Keep doing it. And what you do is you project yourself. You kind of visualize yourself as you are outside of you.
Okay.
And project.
Okay. So you can practice and
absolutely
just like take baby steps and get yourself out there.
Talking about baby steps, this friend of ours, I won't mention any names, was just saying her young daughter, but entering puberty, was watching this baby show that they have on TV, which is to teach, young ladies where babies come from, or how they're born anyway, not the making of them. And now she's asking her mom all the time if she's going to have a C-section. It's amazing what registers in a kid's head, isn't it?
Exactly. And the mother's wishing she was having an outer-body experience.
As that is happening, yeah. I think it's fascinating that we have so many huge universal tools for us to use.
Yes.
And unfortunately, aren't aware of most of them.
Right.
Or if we are, we don't utilize them.
Yeah.
I just watched a very interesting movie. It wasn't really a movie, more like a documentary thing, that has to do with all the natural energy that's available to us that's out in the universe. You just tap into the energy in the universe.
Oh, I would have loved to watch that.
Well, did you ever hear of Tesla? With all his experiments years ago, Tesla, and he had his own, he knew how to do that, where you utilize the energy in the universe. And, I forget, some big money man like a J.P. Morgan, I think, was funding his experiments, and he was heavy into copper, Mr. Morgan. And when he realized that copper wouldn't be necessary because you didn't need copper wires, they actually burned down and destroyed all of Tesla's work.
Oh my!
Now, I didn't say they did it, but somehow mysteriously
something happened. Okay.
And through the years we know that we have an unlimited supply and source of energy.
Right. Yeah. And how powerful it is, and we've talked about it time and time again, but us as a whole only use the tip of what we're capable of with the energy.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is there would be no necessity for oil, for anything. The whole world could utilize this energy, and there is a lot of, it's called like a torus, the way the energy flows. It comes out and then comes back into itself and around, and I'm not a scientist, so I can't explain it properly, but it's just the way it is, and it's throughout the universe.
Okay.
And we could tap into that. We already know how.
Right.
But it's always stopped by money, really, money. The people that have the power and the money are the ones that are able to stop that. And
right, because then, I guess they'd figure out a way to charge energy, but
it's free.
It's free, so
from the universe. But it would be clean. It wouldn't pollute the planet. It's an unlimited supply. And the reason I even started off on all of this is because we're out of bodies, but also abductions. People that have been on spaceships, I hope our viewers don't think we're just completely Looney Tunes, but I think there are enough people interested. At least that's our feedback, isn't it?
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of good feedback.
But people who have been on spaceships have seen how this torus of energy works. That's what generates the spaceships.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes them appear or disappear.
Okay, that would make sense.
There has been cover-up, on the higher echelon level for eons.
Yeah. Well, and I think we are evolving, and I think with the progression of time, if we don't allow fear to keep us suppressed,
Mm-hmm.
we would allow ourselves to start seeing these sort of things.
Yeah, but fear is what's being used to suppress people. I mean, I hate to say this, but the churches, way back in the, beginning of time, they started to control people on fear-based things.
Right.
Churches had all the power and were unfortunately really not a whole lot further, because government tends to control with fear, okay?
Yeah.
Terrorism, this and that. So we still are being controlled.
Right.
And it's fear-based.
Right. That's right. That's what I mean about the suppression. Definitely buying into it, continuing to being brainwashed by watching the fear-based stuff over and over and over again, just with our media. So it's
do you think anybody gets scared watching our show?
They could.
Everybody say, oh my God, those two nuts, get those off the show. But also maybe just opening somebody's mind, like when we talked about the Zero Limit book, the Ho'oponopono, we had so many people respond to us. We had something like 600 people respond to our YouTube. Nobody knows this, but our little show is also on YouTube called That's What I'm Talking About, although there are 90 million shows by that title.
There are a lot of shows. Little did we know.
Little did we know. But you just put in Gertie and Onea and you'll get it. But we did have a lot of hits, so people are interested.
So people are watching, and
or at least some of them.
Sparking a different way of thinking.
Right.
And that's the wonderful thing about free will, and being able to choose if you want to hear it or not hear it.
Right.
So,
but on my you've called me on my voicemail at home. I'm sorry, I'm having an out-of-office experience right now. So when I come back in, I'll return this call or something like that. But no, it's great fun. It's a good way to go and explore and what you can do out in the astrals. You can see loved ones. You can learn things. There are teachings going on. And there's nothing to be frightened of.
Right.
Fear, like you say. Nothing to fear but fear itself. Yeah.
Exactly.
So you're going to try it?
I probably will try it and see if I can be successful with it.
Now, when it was happening a lot, although, like I said, I never learned how to really do it at will, but I was traveling almost nightly, and I'd be tired in the mornings because I was busy all night long. And I learned that I could say, not tonight, okay?
Yeah.
It's almost like I was married. So not tonight, I have a headache. But I'd say, no, not tonight. I'm tired. I need a good night's sleep. And a couple of nights later, I was missing it. And I'd go, oh, I'm missing it. I'm ready to go. And it would start up again.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
I've missed it, actually. I haven't done much traveling lately.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we'll have to start trying and see what experiences we have before our next show.
Well, and you can do that. People do, kind of see if they can meet at the same time out in the astrals and
that would be awesome.
Well, for you and your husband.
Okay.
To do it.
Okay.
And I'll just become a voyeur. Astral voyeur, no. I loved going out into the universe. One time I saw these huge crystal shapes just floating in space. And I said, oh, wow, those are crystal dwellings. well, I never use the word dwellings, you know, but you just kind of know things and talk differently. But, you know, the colors are brighter.
Oh, I bet.
Everything is sharper, brighter, and it's like 3D.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I just envisioned was Avatar when you were explaining that, just that brilliant color that they had on that movie.
And in that movie, I even thought to myself, somebody, well, you know, has had some experiences. We've had several movies that I thought, well, the very first one was Sixth Sense.
Yeah, exactly.
I said, whoever wrote this has some knowledge of the spirit world and how it works, you know?
Exactly.
Hey, speaking of that, I'm trying to correct the price of my book on Amazon. They have my book listed for $83. It should be $14.99, okay, little paperback book, and I cannot get it corrected.
Oh, that's
And how are you
something.
coming with your book?
It's getting a little slower.
That's hard to stay disciplined.
Yeah, exactly.
And
maybe that'll be
our
our resolution this year, is to get disciplined.
book done. But isn't that terrible? I mean, little paperback, $83, and I cannot get it straightened out.
Interesting. Well,
Yeah.
that would be great if you got $83 for
Yes,
it.
it would. Collector's item, right? Because it's rare.
Right.
Yeah, right. But so, all right, part of your resolutions to write the new book, to
Work on it,
practice
yes.
out-of-body experiences.
Yes.
Anything,
And stay disciplined.
and stay disciplined, huh? You know what we should do one time is maybe think about a bucket list.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really? And you've already marked some things off?
Yeah, I just think just progressing in life, period. You know, just doing some things that I wanted to do, the traveling, the this and that, so.
Good. Well, my goals that I set from year to year is kind of like a bucket list.
Right, exactly.
Because some of them have been on there for 20 years, okay? And if it's still important, I transfer it, okay?
Awesome.
But, oh, I enjoyed our time as always.
I have
and
too.
I always love what we're
Talking about.